What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a interesting title, actually, that gave me a lot more gameplay than I really expected out of a $4 title. It's a little game called Talented, and it's pretty much a game that mixes some of the ideas from action RPGs, tower defense games, and also roguelites into something that's both simple, elegant, but also kind of deep and complex the more you get on into it. So today we're going to play the game for about 25-30 minutes and see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list, or if you wanted to give it the old pass, that's perfectly fine too. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, it's done. It's out in 1.0. I've got a link for you down below, and the game is $4. On top of that, you can also find a bunch of other Nerd Castle links down there just in case you wanted to hang out live, but let's dive on into Talented. So let's go ahead and take a run from scratch, and you can learn sort of how this game works. So the game is very, very simple. You have a character. That character is at the center of the screen. Your character is only capable of firing in 4 different directions, which are controlled by W, A, S, and D. You need to keep all of these corridors cleared and keep your character alive up until you reach the end of all of the levels that it's going to put in front of you, each level getting harder and harder and harder with the types of enemies that it's going to shove into your face. And then what the game gives you as a little bit of a bonus is that every single time you level up, you get talent points, which take you into an absolutely absurdly large and also, I think, somewhat procedural talent tree where you've got to piece together enough synergies, enough talents, and enough abilities to make it so that your character is outputting enough damage and enough projectiles and enough destruction to make it through the game. If you do that, you are given rewards that will then upgrade your characters. I think these characters each have 20 they have like 20 meta progression levels that they go through where you pick one direction or the other for how you want to develop them on out. And it'll be, so in the case of the Archer, that's going to change the way that your character plays pretty fundamentally, because Archer, he deals a lot with traps, and he deals a lot with arrows, right? And extra projectiles and things like that. And so a lot of the things you're going to be getting with the Archer are going to be diversifying your gameplay and making it either so you're becoming like a machine gun, or a homing missile launcher, or something like a trap master that's just placing traps all over the place that enemies walk into, so that you don't really need to attack all in all yourself. And there are multiple character classes in this game. There's 6 different character classes, and I'm happy to say I've only unlocked one of them for right now. Hopefully we'll unlock another one today, but from seeing how the Archer plays versus how the Wizard plays, I can say that they all have very different fundamental ideas for how they approach the game. So in the case of the Archer, the question is like, how can I get as many projectiles as possible to destroy the enemy before I'm overwhelmed? In the case of the Wizard has triggerable abilities down here in the bottom left, and he's all about mana conservation. He's got a mana bar, and every single time you cast an ability, you lose mana, and it regenerates slowly. And so he's all about controlling his resources and deploying absolute weapons of mass destruction very carefully, very selectively, in order to ensure that he makes it to the end of the round. For right now, this game is a little bit of a slow burner, so this is not a game that immediately jumped out at me as something that I was going to enjoy playing, because I would say the first 5 to 10 rounds are pretty, I wouldn't say boring, but they're pretty humdrum. It's basically you just kind of picking up speed and figuring out what you want to do with your talent tree. But I find that once you get to like level 15, level 20, that's when the game starts to come together, is when my Archer's already at level 11. Once you start to get up to like level 60, level 70, level 130, that's when your character's really going to have kind of like a gimmick and a thing that you've put together in order to survive. So with these 4 talent points right here, I have found the greatest amount of success. I found the greatest amount of success by increasing attack speed and increasing range so that I can fire down the entire lane all the way down. I don't really want that talent right there, but it's not going to hurt me. Killing 15 enemies gives you 3 bonus attack damage for 5 seconds. It might be alright, but we'll take the knockback, we'll take a little bit more attack speed, and as you take these talents of different varying qualities, it's going to light up other talents that are kind of like keystone talents that are going to change the way that you play the game. So this right here is a talent package. What happens is when you open that, it converts every other single node inside this area that's specialized into something that revolves around a specific idea. Something to give, it's kind of like it gives you a little bit of a drip of just inspiration, so that if you're kind of lost about what to do, this gives you a path to follow. Over here we have the grindstone, which just raises our critical strike chance, and our critical strikes hit harder. Over here we have a vortex shrink ray, which I guess shrinks all the enemies in a direction, then duplicates them. We're going to need some kind of piercing or penetrating in order to make that work, so I'll probably stay away from it. What I'll more than likely do in the early game here is I'll go for this talent package and just see what it converts everything into once I get there. Talents are spent, so let's get back into the fracas and see what we've got going for us right now. A little bit of a bat coming down from the south, but really what struck me about this game, having now played it for about an hour and a half, is that the developers with this game have managed to do something that a lot of indie games struggle with. They've managed to take simplicity, they've managed to take elegance, and they've managed to take complexity of play, and they've managed to get those things in very, very equal portion. This is not a game that takes a huge amount of skill or a huge amount of talent to play. In fact, this is one of those games that could very easily be a mobile title. But once you get into the full swing of build making and whatnot, this is definitely one of those games that's going to get under your skin with the sheer volume of things you can do with each character on each playthrough. I'm not really paying attention to anything that I'm grabbing here because I'm just using pathing, but I don't know if that's going to go up to where I want it to go to. It is. Okay, fantastic. So we got a little bit of range right there. We got a little bit of crit. We got some extra health. We got some knockback. So hopefully we're going to struggle a little bit until we get that package opened, I think. But if we can struggle through the dark part right now, we should be all right. Things to pay attention to on the overall UI of this game. Top left-hand corner, we've got our character and our level. Every single enemy that you kill, Vampire Survivors style, is going to drop little beads. The little beads are XP gems. They make your little XP meter go up. The amount of level ups you get is the amount of talents that you're going to get. Another way that the wizard is kind of different from the archer is that the wizard has loads and loads of nodes. That unintentionally rhymed. Huh. I don't know how I feel about that right now. Normally, rhymes are intentional on this channel, but this is one of those times where I didn't plan anything out. One thing that's different about the wizard is that the wizard very, very, very much has loads of nodes that make it so that he gets way more XP for your average kill than any other character does, which means that he actually gets like 10, 15 talents every single time he clears a level, which lets him travel really well. He's also got some gimmicks that allow him to like teleport around the board, or at least like bend the rules of how the board works in order to make his builds come together. And so the wizard was actually kind of like the big brain version of playing this game versus the archer, which I've showed you at the opening now. If we manage to survive through this and get out of it, I will go ahead and show you maybe the wizard, or if we unlock a new character, maybe we'll try him out too. But for the moment, let's get our nose to the grindstone and let's see what we can accomplish here. At the moment, my character only has one ability. It's called rapid fire, or quick fire, sorry. It allows me to basically just go with my bow for just a second or two. It's not going to be crazy useful, except in situations like that right there. To get myself out of a bad spot and avoid taking damage. It wouldn't have really mattered at this phase of the playthrough because you get all your health back after every single wave. The clock up here lets you know how long you have left in the wave. You can also speed and slow the game down if you want to, which I found to be a huge blessing because playing on default speed, the early game can really, really drag. So choose a talent package that you can apply to this tree. So we can go straight through. That's going to focus on piercing attacks and booby traps. We've got the enemy's quiver. We get more powerful quiver talents, which means that our arrows, they can be explosive arrows, they can be fire arrows, they can be ice arrows, stuff like that. We've got Forbidden Harvest over here. This activates the bounty system, where occasionally there's going to be an enemy that's tagged, and if you kill them, you get a bunch of bonuses for it. I'm going to try out the quiver bonuses, because I've never tried that one before, and as you can see, that evolved this entire grid over here into new stuff. So over on this side, we have poison arrows, which might be nice for the slower moving, heavier enemies. We also have a bunch of talents around here that give us a really good chance of making those poison quiver talents trigger. So let's take damage and we'll take poison quiver for right now. We'll try to grab poison quiver down there. Then we'll come up this way and we'll try to grab the finest leather talents and maybe tiny quiver as well so that we've got a chance to shrink enemies. We've got safety mush over there, which gives us knockback and an extra life so that we come back after we die, but I don't know if I want to grab that just yet. Vortec aimbot might be nice because that allows me to have the game play itself when I trigger an ability for a little bit, which might give me a little bit of a break. but I didn't really get things out of here that I was excited about. I'll be honest with you. We're going to have to play around with some stuff if we want this to work. But our talents are spent, so let's go ahead and get back into here. I think if we can get some kind of talent that makes it so our arrows bounce or our arrows do something interesting, we'll be in much better shape. So far, nothing too scary around here. Don't we have explosive arrows too? We might have explosive arrows too. I'm going to need to speed up my shots real quick just to get myself out of that bad situation. Sometimes they line up so that they're attacking at like an identical same time, and in that situation, if you don't have some kind of Nova or AoE or booby trap or something else, it can definitely get you into trouble. There we go. Wipe them out. We'll focus on the top lane real quick, and that got us out of here. How many talents we got for this go? 5. All right, so with 5 talents, I want to grab this guy, this guy, this guy. I'm going to go up this way, and we're going to work our way towards Tiny Quiver, higher proc chance, and also another Poison Quiver, because I think that'll stack right there in order to give us more damage and also more chance to decay, I think. But I don't know if it's going to apply like that. We definitely need to get some kind of bouncing arrow, or we need to get some kind of penetrating arrow now, or we need to get some sort of like multi-shot if we really want to make this thing work, because our lane range is pretty good at the moment. But one thing you've always got to keep in mind strategically is that due to the fact that the game plays in a widescreen format, the top lane and the bottom lane are always going to be shorter to clear than the other ones. So if you look, these are roughly 6 tiles in length, whereas these over here are like 7, almost 8 tiles in length. And so we kind of want to guard the up and down a little bit more aggressively than we guard the left and right too. We'll clear them out real quick with a rapid shot. 42 kills right there. Getting some nice XP bonuses, but the game hasn't really picked up its stride yet. It will, don't worry, once we get to like level 60 or 70, that's when it's going to get rowdy around here. Let's grab, we already got Poison Quiver over there, so that's good. Let's get Tiny Quiver, let's get Finest Leather, let's get Poison Quiver. Let's grab Attack Speed, and it hasn't really pinged anything else for me just yet to give me something to go off of. So I may sweep back down around this way and grab all of that stuff over there, but I don't know. We do have Blast Quiver. I forgot that we picked that up, so we've got explosive bullets too. So if I can focus on getting my attack speed up to just like ludicrous levels, we can sort of like ham spam a bunch of explosive Rambo arrows out that'll get us out of this. Alright, so our first challengers are on the left and right lanes, but north and south, not to be outdone, are still sending something in here after us. We've got a brief moment of respite where we've only got to cover right there. Just keep firing. Good stuff. Getting a little more hectic right now. We're not quite to where the game gets insane and you're firing homing missiles all over the place like I did on the last round, but we're getting closer. Okay, explosive arrow cleared that lane. I didn't really want to trigger that ability, but it happens to the best of us. I don't know what Shrink actually does to enemies. I don't think I've ever done a Shrink build yet. I'm guessing it probably nerfs their attack power or makes them move slower or something like that, but it's hard to say. With these 5 talent points, I'm going to branch out and grab every last bit of attack speed I can possibly throw into my docket. We're going to get Finest Leather. We're going to get... I may more than likely flow over this way, grab the critical strike chance, grab Finest Leather over here, and then grab more attack speed so that we'll be machine gunning. But that's a decision for another time. We've got about 20% more attack speed right now, which I think is going to be really, really helpful for clearing out this level and getting everything feeling good. We also got a little bit more damage out of that last batch of level ups, so that'll be nice as well. Did I take damage right there? I thought I heard a damage sound. Well, Poison seems to be doing a pretty good job, and it looks like Poison actually spreads, maybe? Oh, it does! So the explosion from Blast Quiver can cause Poison to spread, so it actually imbues the explosion with Poison damage as well. Good to know. Okay, so we have our transmission vector then. Like, we have our way to, like, dot up as many enemies as possible, so that's really, really good. You do want to maintain your combos. Your combos are going to make it so you get a lot more XP so that you can stay ahead of the difficulty curve. 5 more right there. We're going to take Finest Leather. We're going to take Auto Attack right there. We're going to grab another health up so that we get a few more hearts to play around with. And then I'm going to try to grab attack speed, crit, attack speed over here. and we'll see if anything else lights up that's looking appealing at that point. You can get talents that actually make the light radius on your ability picks much, much larger as you go through the game. It can be useful. It can be very, very helpful, but I don't really have any of those. It seems like most of those were on the wizard tree. All right, what you got for me? Oh yeah, we can autoplay right now. That actually lasts for a while. I dig it. Okay, I'll take it. Yep, wipe out all those lanes. All right, we got a couple enemies up at top. And how about this soundtrack, huh? What a good soundtrack. Like, it's definitely got sort of like old school anime vibes, I guess, as it's going through, which makes you feel a little bit more heroic as you play through the game. I will always be a firm proponent of the audio and the visuals need to like match up, like the audio and the gameplay, dude. If you can get those things to match up, they are just a peanut butter and jelly power combo that can carry your game to victory. Really, my only complaint about the game as of right now is that it's all in this weird sepia tint, and I wish that it was in full color. Like, that's it. I just do not like sepia stuff, and so that's a little bit of a bummer. But it's not a deal breaker because the game is so good. Let's get our crit right there, crit right there. That leaves me with 3 talents left. We'll grab that, and then we've got Gumball Collector. Enemies have a 3% chance to drop a gumball when you kill them, and they give you 3% attack speed for the rest of the round. If I can get a few more of those, 3% is not a great chance for that to drop, but if I can get like 4 or 5 of those nodes, I did that on my first playthrough ever. It allows you to sweep and clear pretty aggressively. Let me grab a little bit more health so that we have a full heart right there in case we get overrun. 15% more attack speed is feeling pretty good, and it may be time for me to turn down the game's speed, actually. I've noticed a pattern when I play through this game is that for the early rounds, I play it on absolute, like, breakneck pace because the early rounds are kind of boring. But once you get to the later rounds that require a little bit more focus, a little bit more dexterity, and a little bit more selectivity about what it is that you're fighting, at that point, I tend to slow the game down a little bit so I can be a tad more tactical about the abilities that I choose to use. Let's go auto fire from right here. I'll just have the game play itself for a second. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, few more enemies to kill off on this side. Don't know how we're doing on XP right now. I haven't really been counting my level ups, but between the explosions and the poison, I feel like we're doing all right. 105 enemies slain, 5 talent points. I don't see anything lit up still. What was that right there? Oh yeah, that gives us the extra life. Okay. Since we don't really have a heading, I am gonna go for Gumball Collector. We'll go for some crit. We'll go for some attack speed, and we've got another blast quiver right there, which gives us an even greater chance for our arrows to explode. So I'll probably snag him real quick on my way down. But we're out of talent points. We are all broke right now when it comes to currency, so let's get back to it. I think this is going to be a micromanagey round. Like, I feel like our damage is dead on where it needs to be at the moment, but this doesn't feel like a round where I'm going to have the game spamming so many bullets that I don't actively need to engage with it. I think I am still going to need to be in the pilot seat for the remainder of our dive down into the enemy dungeon. There we go. Give me that stuff right there. I don't know what the gumballs look like. I don't know if they're the yellow pips instead of like the normal sepia ones. Those ones right there. They may or may not be. I can probably look at my run info right now. I don't see anything inside my run info for what my bonuses are right this second. Yeah, maybe go back on auto fire for a minute. Sorry, I zoned out while I was trying to look for other stuff. Good stuff. How many level ups did we get? 6 that time around. Good thing. We don't want to go that direction. Let me grab this other blast quiver, that attack speed. That doesn't go anywhere. This looks like it goes upwards, though. So we got a little bit more health, and we got a little bit more XP, which should be nice. I'd like to be getting like 10 or 11 level ups per round at this point, because we're getting towards the end. We got 6 more days left until we clear this mastery level, but have no fear, the game is not over when you clear the mastery level. There are 25 mastery levels, and after playing for a couple of hours, I am on mastery level 3. right now, and each mastery unlocks more stuff for you to fiddle around with, whether it be characters or talents or other goodies that will fundamentally change the way that you sort of interact with the game. We're taking a little bit too much damage right now. So this game is definitely not short on content for something that's $3.99. In fact, I would wager a guess that the cost of value of this game is probably pretty absurdly large. Auto fire for a minute. The game tends to make better selectivity picks than I do when it comes to killing enemies. Okay, we're looking pretty solid right now. Between explosions and everything else, we're in good shape. 6 talent points. I want the attack speed. I want the range. We've got an energy collector, so one of the core, I guess, gameplay ideas behind the archer is that your abilities have a limited number of uses, and you get these talents that increase the chance that enemies will drop a battery. Every time they drop a battery, you get 1 charge back of a random ability, and so we do want to have a little bit of that, I think. But I also want damage, and I want more attack speed. We've got another package up here. If I could pick up something like multi-bullet at this point, it would be great, but I got a bad feeling that this might be a dead end right here. We'll find out. That's another way that the game kind of like makes you scratch. That's another way that the game makes you scratch your head, is that every now and again you'll travel down a path and it'll just end up being a dead end. Fire away there, brother. Let them have it. Give them a volley. Now we're starting to get into the thick of it. Now it's starting to feel like a good game. There we go. Get that bat real quick. Give me another auto fire. Pick and choose where you want to shoot at. Oh, I could put on auto fire and also rapid fire at the same time. I can just kind of like roll across 1 and 2 and get some serious spam in my life. All right, let's do that then. Yeah, that worked out really effectively. Okay, I've got myself like a little bit of an oh shit button right now if I end up needing it. I always call it an oh shit button because you use it when you say oh shit. It's kind of like in the car, you know, those handles that are like up above the window? Those are the oh shit handles. That's what we called them our entire lives. Let's go up this way. Oh, there is a path. Good stuff. All right, well, I'm not going to pay attention too much to what I'm taking then. We have another gumball candy over here that I definitely want to grab. Oh, we got another one over there, too. Okay. It's coming together. What does that do? Hail of arrows. Your next 2 basic attacks fire in all 4 directions. That would also be nice, but we'll see what this guy does for me very shortly. We are on night 16 of 20, so we may not actually make it far enough to actualize all this stuff. I'm guessing one of the final masteries unlocks like a eternal mode where you just keep going as far as you possibly can without dying. I got 15 seconds on my cooldown, huh? I would say that that's probably not ideal. There we go. You just fire away. We need to do something on that left-hand flank because they are pushing up on us right now. I don't like being cooldown driven like this, though. I feel like I'm very much relying on cooldowns in order to survive, and my general experience has been that when I'm relying on cooldowns to survive rather than relying on my auto attack, things tend to get a little bit hairy and unsustainable. So hopefully we get something good the next time we go through. Just spray them down a little bit. We are all out of ability charges, so we're going to need to find some batteries before things get worse. But we did survive, and we pulled out 10 talent points, which is great. Give me some knockback, give me some damage, give me the gumball collectors. We're going to open this package. And military grade. Fire tons of homing missiles. Hell yeah, let's do it. So now we've got talents on the board that make it so killing 25 enemies makes us auto-fire 2 bullets that heat-seek out enemies. We've also got, well, that's mostly what there is to look at right here. But we want to get that number up as high as possible. If we can get that up to like 10 or 15 arrows that it's firing every single time we kill 25 enemies, that would be good. Give me a little bit more HP. We'll probably take Hail of Arrows over here too on our way to path to other stuff. Strategize makes it so that if I don't fire a basic attack for 8 seconds, I get 3 attack damage until the end of the night. But I haven't been able to make it useful yet. It seems like a really good talent, but I kind of need like the proper opening to utilize it. All right, let's start clearing. We got a battery right there, so that's good. Unfortunately, we only have 2 charges max on our abilities right now, so it's not going to be that helpful. Bats almost got me right there. Get Big Dog over there with some poison, because I think if I can get poison spreading on the side lanes, we'll be in really good shape. Yeah. There goes our homing missiles right there. So I tried on the intro of this game. I ended up dying, but I tried to show you kind of what a homing missile-focused build looks like. But honestly, after playing around with it, I think homing missiles are best used as like a secondary gimmick, not a primary gimmick. Yeah, now we're pod racing. Just go ahead and autoplay for a second. Oh, never mind. We're out of here. Good. All right, so 10 talent points in that final round. Give me Hail of Arrows. Give me attack speed. Let's get a higher amount of arrows every single time we hit 25. There's another one right there. I think I'm... Oh, what do we have down here? Hold on. So I have Rocket Man. Your attack speed is increased by 25%. You fire homing missiles instead of basic attacks for the next 5 seconds. Fire 3 homing missiles at the beginning of every single night. Yeah, we can kind of like get into that, I think. I think at this point we're kind of just like polishing up the build, so I think it'll be okay. Fire in every direction. Yeah, it's not a bad little ability. I'll take that. Go ahead and autoplay for me, would you? I think I need to pick up a couple battery nodes, though, so that I can actually get my abilities back more consistently. Yeah, we're cruising right now. We're feeling all right. Good stuff. It's an odd sort of game. I definitely think this is going to be a title that gets under people's skin because they just seem to have this perfect conflux of replayability and dopamine-inducing gameplay here. Like, this is really one of those cases where your lying eyes will deceive you because this game does not look impressive when you look at it on the Steam storefront. But once you drop your $4 and you start playing it, you're like, holy Jesus, dude. They crammed, like, a lot of hours of gameplay into what is a $4 game. How'd we do? 8. We didn't get as much XP that time. That's a little bit of a bummer. All right, we'll take Rocket Man. We'll take increased attack speed over there and a little bit more range. If I can just get to the point where I can fire down the entire lane, I think we'll be in really good shape here. Fire off my freebie homing missiles. Yeah, there we go. What I like about homing missiles is if you have any left in the air at the end of the last round, they stay till this round too, which can be pretty spicy. I'm gonna go ahead and fire arrows in every direction. We'll fire off a whole bunch of homing missiles right there. Yeah, now we're starting to play with fire. Now it's starting to feel pretty good. Give me a few more missiles in the air. Good stuff. This guy's got a chin on him over here. I'm actually kind of surprised how little he's dying. We dumped a lot of DPS into that big tree over there, so he must have been an elite or something like that. Just keep on firing. Hell yeah. Now we're living on easy street, although those bats with the shields could still get us into trouble. So we'll want to stay focused on them if we can. That right lane's looking clean. Spider got by poison. And I think we're out of here. We're at level 110 right now. Leveling's definitely slowing down. I use a lot of abilities, so we'll... Oh, dead-ended. Okay. Then just give me more attack speed and damage. Look how big this talent tree's gotten at this point. And I think it just extends like... I don't know if it goes infinitely in a direction, all right? But it keeps going for a long, long ways. Let's kill off our last knight, and we'll see what we've managed to get unlocked. But I will say that my closing thoughts about this game are that it is exceptional in every single way, except for the fact that the early part of most of your playthroughs are going to be pretty boring. Like the first 10 to 12 levels, I don't find them to be very entertaining It's just too slow. It takes a little bit to get a build up and running. But man, if you can get over that hump on each run, the game is a lot of fun. So a little bit of pacing issues right there. But aside from that, I think the developers have stumbled onto something that is well and truly great here. I think they've created something that's very replayable with a ton of content density, a lot of things to fiddle and play around with. It manages to be incredibly simple to learn while simultaneously incredibly engaging once you've got something up and running. It requires your attention, like you actually have to be watching the game and seeing what's happening as you're going on through. It also gives the player a tremendous amount of power fantasy on inside of there. So I think the pacing issues on the earlier ends of the runs are very, very forgivable given the breadth of greatness that you're getting out of such a tiny and streamlined, elegant title. Good stuff. Let's finish this round off, and then we'll see what we unlock, and I'll show you what metagame progression looks like. You do unlock stuff in this game, whether you win or lose. So when you lose, you're going to get XP, and then that's going to be multiplied by the level of mastery that you're currently playing on, which will then fill up a meter that unlocks things specific to the character that you have been playing thus far. And so we've got ourselves a nice little mastery bonus, so we can get a new talent package. We've got gadgeteer abilities and sources of homing missiles. We've got critical strike chance builds over here, and then on this side we've got minefields. Well, I've already got homing missiles, so we'll take that. And that looks like all that we got aside from mastery level 3. And so let's go back and see if we got anything spicy for unlocking that right there. And it looks like we did not. So we need to get mastery level 3 for the next character. But we did unlock some new stuff for our archer, and we could play through as the wizard just to give it a go. But this is the end of the video. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today we were taking a look at a game called Talented, which I think is very, very good. I will see you all later. Thank you for stopping on in, and that's about all I got for you, folks. Bye.